D-I-N-G-O, D-I-N-G. And Dingo was his name. What the hell? Thumbs down straight away. Come on. You're better than that. Oh dear. Come on, don't be so shy. Come tell me. Well, hey, internet friends. Dingo here. Bloody Dingo. Just waiting on Renee coming along. I think she's joining me. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I assume she will be. But yeah, it was talking about a few things last night in the stream, and one of the things I was talking about has actually started happening today. So yeah, I thought I would bring that up to people. It's wait till some people come in, etc., etc. Whatever you want it to be about OJM, what do you want to talk about? We're just going to talk about how everywhere is advertising to snitch on your neighbour. Snitches get food stamps. It's crazy. What's going on around us? But sure, what can you do? It is what it is. So either suck it up. Renee, I had to do a freaking update as soon as a freaking yeah, there'll be some random topics thrown in there, I'm sure. Whenever I fired everything up, Renee, I had to do an update. Dope. So there you are. I'll get you an invite here, girl. That's stuck in my head, that damn tune, so it is. Every time I come online. That freaking Scooby crap. Well, Assassin 2, how are you? I know, Kick, it's stuck in my head, so it is. As soon as you freaking I put the internet on, freaking the Scooby Doom theme tune. The Scooby Doo theme tune comes into my head. Trying to change myself into the D-I-N-G-O, 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 and Dinko was his name, you know. But sure. Did you take that invite, Renee? I sent you a link. Hello. Is there anybody out there? There's Land Rover. What about you, mate? How's your cotton, hey? How's the cotton? Okay, dope. Renee. So what's been happening on the land of YouTubes this week? Um, kind of stopped watching, so to be honest with you, I don't really pay attention a lot to it anymore. Um, Richie from Boston's losing his crap. He's been losing his mind. I mean, that guy's convinced he's gonna freaking open a door to a SWAT team or something, but his channel never gets taken down. No, no, that's not true. Everything's not a hoax. Everything's not a hoax. Definitely not. As I said last night, it doesn't matter about. It doesn't matter what the topic is. It's the result. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's what's happening at the minute is real or not. It's the consequences of what's actually happening. That's a big thing. You know, you're seeing governors of states, you know, in a press conference suggesting to their fellow citizens to snitch on people who are breaking the lockdown rules. Um, I think that's outrageous, you know. And restrictions may start getting a bit, our life might start getting a bit difficult. I don't know what it's like in America, but I've started to notice a few things, you know, don't seem to be coming back on the shelves as quick over here. Um, you know, when times if this lockdown goes on for any length of time or whatever, you're going to be talking about food shortages, etc. And that's whenever I think people will start, you'll start seeing a rise on people snitching on their neighbours. The police in England put a tweet out, you know, asking if anybody's talking to you about conspiracy theories, report them. Conspiracy theories, report them. I mean, how fucking ridiculous is that? You know, fucking scary times. Well, not scary, like, but you know what I mean. It's different. Not something that a lot of people are used to. Hey, Malibu. Renee, how's she talking about me taking forever to get online? And I'm online, you're not even ready. What sort of tomfoolery is this? Lateness will not be tolerated. I shall report you. Yeah. I mean, you already see it in freaking YouTube, like the whole people make reports on other people. You've got sometimes the reports are genuine, but as we all know, a lot of them are just nonsense. Any which way to try and get a channel in trouble or something. So yeah, people will freaking snitch. Funny enough, I was watching a show the other day. It was on the news. Somebody mentioned psychosis. They reckon the whole world is in psychosis at the minute. Good evening, Renee.
Hello, how are you?
It took you long enough to get here. I'm sitting here freaking God on my thumbs.
I don't
Nothing.
want to hear it. Remember when you could talk for 3 hours all by yourself?
I that's and I know I've run out of steam.
I hear you. It's hard. That's why I don't like doing the streams on my little stupid Streamlabs phone
My
thing because it's boring as fuck.
my, uh, my shit's got cold, as I say.
Oh my god. I didn't tell you this yet. I don't know if you saw it. I'm one A Malibu. I'm one A.
I know it took me a few times. The last time I did a live stream, she came with that one I wouldn't her because I didn't recognize her. Took me a while to register. Renee? What? I had to say it out first before I friggin' twigged on me. Renee?
Did
Oh,
you
it's
see
Renee.
did you see the did you see the post OG put out?
No,
Uh community post?
no.
Oh shit. It was a box of tampons, basically tampons for men, and it had Tretch's picture and your avatar picture on it. It was kind of funny, but you could tell he's triggered. See, here's the funny thing about it is he's acting like other people are crying, but he's the one who like almost
Crying.
fucking blew out of his skin when you came in a chat once. Like he was losing his mind. I'll never forget it.
That was me and Treats um having a laugh on his live stream yesterday. In Treats' live
Uh,
stream.
yep.
I wasn't wasn't actually speaking. I was just following chat. We're just having a laugh. There was nothing sinister or crying about it. Oh dear.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing. You can't even joke with him because he gets so triggered that, you say his name and he comes into chat and then he has to start flipping out like some sort of mad menopausal woman.
He's probably sitting in here at the minute.
Well, I made sure to mention him in my promo video. I told him to bring his diapers and his wipes and his tissues just in case.
I didn't see it. I didn't know you were doing it. You'd be getting me in trouble. He already put an ultimatum video out to me during the week. Give me one, not this week, last week. Give me a week to respond. Uh, I think that week was up yesterday, so I don't know. I have no intention of responding to that guy. He's burnt toast, as Canada would say.
Yep.
He's lost all credibility, like as far as
Well,
I'm
that's why he's
concerned.
trying to distance himself from Freddie
Sure,
and glom on to some people who have some credibility, like Flo, maybe.
yeah, yeah, close, yeah.
Well,
But
and here's the thing with those.
Flo has always been the thing I can say about Flo. Flo's always been straight and honest. He's never changed his point of view. He's called a spade as he's seen it, and that does it. Like whether whether he agreed with me or whether he didn't or whatever. It he's not the type of guy who's going to automatically agree with you because he knows you. If he, doesn't
Yeah,
matter, he's
he
going to
seems
call you out
fair.
on it. Like, yeah, I've got plenty of time for Flo in that respect. But um, I don't know. It kind of looks like OG, and Lee Veltman are teamed up together there. So, but
Well, what I was going to say, and that would make, it makes sense because a lot of these people that have friend groups, and if you watch them over a certain amount of time, they'll swap friends out, they fight, and then they're friends with their enemies, and then they're friends with their friends again, and everybody's fighting, and it just keeps like circling around. And those people constantly do that, like reorganize their group. Whereas what we've done is basically, come into
kept it the
certain groups and
same.
been like, yeah, no, thanks,
Yeah.
and just tried to keep normal people together. But some people don't care because it's a means to an end. Your friends are a means to an end, whether it's revenge or whatever.
Yeah, there seems to be a goal behind it, behind that type of thing.
I've seen it in a lot of groups, not just ours, and not just ones that we know. I've been in other groups and I've seen it too.
Yeah. Oh, it's all over the place. I mean, it's the same story all over the place. People. It starts off, everybody gets on fine, and maybe somebody says something out of turn, or maybe somebody's maybe a wee bit better at doing videos than somebody else, or more popular, so and the Green Monster comes out, and they feel that they should be. Who
Yeah.
knows what the fuck, like.
Scooby, the last time I remember this dynamic, I was in sixth grade. Sixth grade, the two
Is
popular girls in my school, Jamie and Holly, would fight. And I wasn't in the popular group because I thought they were all stupid. Haha, okay? Thought they were dumb even back then. And I would watch them and they would fight with each other. Jamie and Holly would get in a fight. Then the group would split up. Some people back Jamie, some people back Holly, and then they were all fighting with each other. When Jamie and Holly made up, everyone else made up. And it went
Yeah,
on and on and on for fucking years. And I just was like, a girl who was friends with all them was like, you should hang out with us. I was like, fuck no, you guys are all mental. Like, what's your problem? You can't even stay friends. And when your friends are fighting, you have to hate each other too. Like, you're all fucked up. And that's why I don't buy into the YouTube bullshit and I refuse to play those games. And I see now, and listen, it was eye opening, Scooby, for me to realize adults don't necessarily grow up. It's a bunch of fucking high schoolers and sixth graders on YouTube, and you just got to figure out what maturity level you're at and fuck the rest because these people are children. It's ridiculous.
yeah. I would say the majority of them probably weren't popular at school as well. You know.
Or maybe they were, and but the thing is we all know what happened to the popular kids. They had the most fucked up homes with the most fucked up parents. They had the parties at their house because their parents were fucked up and probably hitting on their friends. So good job being popular.
I
you
I
know,
was
like,
I was a popular kid.
well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I was popular.
It
Everybody loved
depends
me.
on where you live. Sometimes the popular kids are the rich kids, but the rich kids' families are all fucked up too. So I don't know, it depends on what popular you're talking about. This is almost like how, when there's like, I don't know who made these people popular. Like they didn't have the most money or what. I don't know. They were the cattiest people in school. I have no idea what made them popular, but they just happened to be. And I just never ran in those circles. I was always friends with everybody.
But I think what's ended up happening now, though, we've ended up creating a whole generation below us like that now. With this whole everybody, if you participate, you're a winner. So we've got like a generation of people that type of mindset, and it's become very narcissistic and very, it's much wider spread. It's a bigger spread on it. Families are freaking divided when people argue now and shit like that. It's like it's mental.
Yep.
I don't know. I count my blessings, so I do that. You know, I have a little bit of normality in my life, like, because you certainly won't find anything normal around this place. At the end of the day, you're just after a bit of crack, but some people have a bit of a laugh and a joke with. People that talk serious times too. People that sit back, relax, chill out, and discuss. Should it be in a private message chat or in the freaking group chat or on a live stream or whatever? Like that's what people are after. A bit of friendship, you know, looking for information, connect. You know, being genuine. Um,
Yeah, people aren't genuine in general. And I guess I made some assumptions coming into, quote, the truth movement or whatever, that most people would be genuine because they had been living around a bunch of bullshit like I had. Come to find out, no, it's the same fucking thing. It's the same bullshit, and it's distracting, and you have to get through it to get to the point. But I mean, you can be having serious even people who pretend to put out content sit there. I mean, and they're contradicting themselves 3 times within 1 week. I mean, if that's the type of person who's putting out, quote, truth content, like, I can't believe that. You can't even keep your mind straight about your own bullshit. So, and people don't see that. They're like, I've noticed there's this big, and it's the same with the popular group. It's we're, they kind of just tag along with each other. It doesn't matter that they'll bitch at people for doing things that their friends do because it's okay because they're my friend. There's a lot of hypocrisy with that sort of stuff. And for me, I don't trust people who contradict themselves constantly. So I don't like drama, but they're all involved with drama all the time. They'll even say publicly they don't do it, but then they'll turn around and cause havoc behind the scenes and things like that. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. It's just sort of things that I've seen in a lot of groups, and the people that say I hate drama the most are generally the ones who fucking are involved with it the most. And I've seen a couple channels like that. And nobody gets it. They watch them talk shit constantly, and they just go, yeah, yeah. I mean, come on now. It doesn't make sense.
fuck, nothing makes sense.
Well, then you can't have appropriate conversations. It starts interfering with your ability to communicate intelligently with people and share information and be here for the same reason. If
Yeah, it's breaking down things at the bottom level. So there's less chance of it reaching the top. You know, that's basically what it is. It's what I said a long, long time ago about channels having other channels and using their influence to attack the smaller channels. It said if you come along, you'll be vetted for what you talk about, and 1 minute it'll be okay to freaking question things, but then the next minute it won't be okay to question things, and you'll be hounded about that, and you're like, holy crap.
Mhm.
You can't win with the same people. Sometimes you don't have to do anything at all. Sometimes your face just doesn't fit. Um,
I was telling somebody that yesterday. Similar thing. It's like if you can come on the scene and get in with a group of people, and if you're not towing their narrative, they'll boot you. They think you're promising because you're talented or you have a little bit of a following, so they want to bring you in, and you think it's something else, and then you find out it's really just to bolster them, and you're supposed to show a narrative, i.e., agree with them on everything, attack who they want to attack, and if you don't buy into that, they very quickly see your way out. you know
yeah, well, here I was speaking earlier on in Ghost Stream, and Malibu was there, and I happened to talk about something, and she spoke after me, and she said about a defeatist attitude, and maybe I might have sounded a bit defeatist, but at the very least, at least she spoke up and said, here, that sounds quite. I'm not one of these defeatist people, and I'd rather blah blah blah. So it's okay in my mind. Like, have a difference of opinion, share it, explain it, or whatever. Like, it's okay to think differently from each other. Like, we'll
Well, I didn't approve of stuff where groups of people go around harassing smaller channels to toe their narrative and force them to put certain things out. It's not their job to do that and to harass people then who don't comply. Who the fuck do they think they are?
see. I'd be honest with you, right? I think I mean, look, realistically speaking, here, right? Nobody here is going to end up with a big mainstream channel. I don't even think that's the goal for anybody anyway.
You can't
But
unless you sell out. The only way to
yeah,
get
but
big is to sell out.
but the reality is, I think you're actually better off having a smaller channel, even just 100 subs, because out of them 100 subs, if you're getting 50% of them to freaking interact with each other and share information or talk about certain subjects with thoughts and kind of think tanking things through, then it's far easier to wade your way through all the bullshit of the conspiracy theories on YouTube and talk about them. So if you have amassed even 50 people, but half of them will freaking critical think with you, then that's better than having just freaking a huge ass channel and putting out a video hoping that somebody will freaking actually think about it. When the reality is, people will click on it, watch a couple of minutes, and then turn it off, move on to something else. So I think it's far better the live streaming and a crowd coming in. I mean, 16 people here at the minute, and there are only 30 something subs. That's all right. You know what I mean? But if you, amongst us lad that are in here, even the ones that aren't taking part in the chat, it's all about interacting. Like, I mean, if anybody's welcome to come into the live streams at some point later on here. But I think that there is more important than anything. Just if you can find a group of people that you can kind of hang out with, tolerate, have a difference of opinion about things, and share your information or thoughts or whatever, you're far better off. It's just a way better system, full stop, than anything else. And the smaller it is, the less chance of assholes coming in and you know, I mean, you'll always get a bit trolled anyway, but you know what I mean. There's less interference.
Yep. Well, and
So
people seem pretty forgiving on here and want to give opportunities. But, I've been listening to another group go through some issues, and it's like, when you do that, when you I even tried it. I tried to make peace with several groups, and it just doesn't work because people aren't all on the same page. And if people are nasty and hateful, like, you're not going to escape that. So you have a choice. Like, you're going to either subject yourself to it or you're going to avoid it completely. And I think people who try to make peace with certain types of people, it's just never going to happen. And that's what's happening in this other group. I mean, some lines get crossed, and that's fine as far as, knowing where you stand, but then get back to business. I would hope. But interpersonal politics do always interfere with any kind of group and, work or anything like that.
yeah, I mean, I think at this stage, what's happening around us now in the actual real world is something we would normally watch about in a video or be warned about in a video, or some agenda being spoke about or whatever. And it's actually happening. It's going on now outside. We're all limited to what we can do, or what we can purchase, where we can go. Some people might have seen family in a way. So reality is starting to settle in, and I think a lot of people is just like, you know what, the fucking bullshit that goes on, it ain't worth it. Just fucking because you know, in freaking X amount of weeks, um, you could be facing a situation that you never dreamt about.
Well, you were
And
talking about reporting channels, and people do that when they're all
yeah,
butthurt, and that's the snitching is going to be the same. And you've seen videos on YouTube of people freaking out at other people.
yeah,
Uh,
losing their shit. Like, I mean,
yeah.
wanting to fucking hurt you, physically hurt you, like, you know, claiming that, you know, they would do, and you're like, what on earth, man? You see what's round the corner in front of people here? Possibly. You know, as I said, we're all here. We've all been amongst the community for a long time. There has been a lot of infighting and bits and all the rest of it. But I think for most people now, it's reality is setting in because, you know, our two worlds are starting to merge together. And people are going to be looking for advice, for support, for information, you know, regardless of what that may end up being. But people are going to be looking for it. People are going to be seeking a bit of comfort, a bit of solace, you know, knowing that they're not the only one. Because you know, this society now is going to be on the warpath for conspiracy theories. BBC News is constantly going on about the 5G conspiracy theory and how, you know, the towers have been public property or not public property. Property has been vandalized and towers burnt and whatnot. And then you've got, oh fuck, my head just went there. Oh, brain fart. Oh, you've got all that shit going on anyway, like, and the conspiracy theories and theorists are in the firing line for it, thanks to David Icke. Um,
Yeah, I haven't bought into him for a long time.
you know,
Uh, this is
go
what
ahead.
kills me too about some truthers is when I see truthers who are extremely unhealthy, especially people like Ike who proclaim to know the secrets of the fucking universe. The first thing you might want to get a handle on is your health. Just because when they speak as loud as they do, all that stuff goes together. Like, so medical conspiracy, historical conspiracy, current conspiracy, it all goes together. And so, you know, especially with someone like David Icke who's got money, he should be able to get a little look into. But it seems like, you know, that's where I struggle too is we can get into the political and sociological ideology and manipulation, but we can't leave out the medical portion of it because it has everything to do with how we perceive things. As far as not that if you perceive the medical community one way, then you got it all figured out. I just mean if you understand how you work and then what works around you, you can start to then see how things are manipulated. And you know, I just this guy's sitting there with his funky hands and he's got rheumatoid arthritis. I know that by looking at him. And that's something that you can do something about, but it takes a little effort and work. And if this guy knows everything about 5G vaccines and fucking aliens, then why the fuck doesn't he know how to cure rheumatoid arthritis? You know, I just have a hard time with that. And that's what tells me a little bit these are paid actors. Or
Yeah,
they're
wait.
just ignorant of certain things, which you got to have all of it, I feel like. You got to have it all.
Yeah, I would say Ike has been given. I wouldn't call him a paid actor or whatever, like, but I certainly believe he's fulfilling a role that he was
Controlled opposition, burning.
given to
Remember
play.
in the UK, burning all the freaking 5G towers.
He's like a paid paper, so he is, if you ask me.
Well, and that's you know, and here we go. And then there's the Epoch Times or Epic. It's EPOCH, but it's Epic Times, and they're putting out everything came from China. It was modified in a lab and all this other shit. And I just felt strongly like I know they're trying to. I just something wasn't right, and I felt like they're controlled op. It's pushing that still narrative of let's blame China, just like we were going to blame Russia. Again, distractions from people like Epstein and Gates. We need to be looking at those pieces of shit, and not some fucking lab created virus that you keep pushing. It's China's fault. Like, we're being attacked. They're pushing the war narrative. So I'm suspicious of it. Might not be the regular kind of war, but it is our silent war, our invisible enemy. It's more so if they're on either side of the aisle, I really am suspect of their intentions. If they're pushing government narratives, i.e., war, pandemics, or anything like that. And it's, I'm walking around seeing people not wearing masks when they should be. And um, I don't know. They must not be scared. That's a good thing. These are professionals. They must not be scared. But I do see some professionals
Well,
walking around with N95s outside like a bunch of jackasses.
there is the London mayor has come out and he wants it to be mandatory to wear masks in public places now. But I'd have to say to myself, like, how can they make it mandatory now when all along it hasn't? It's been the government's been using the line. Well, the science suggests that a mask isn't going to prevent you from getting
Yeah,
this, etc.
the CDC put out a fucking message saying, no, a mask isn't going to help. And then they turn around and make that recommendation and enforce it in countries. How does that even make sense? They're literally
Doesn't
telling you it doesn't work, but now it's mandated. Again, yeah,
it?
just like
It
vaccines
doesn't.
don't when they're mandated. Yeah, they're
It
idiots.
does not make sense at all. Like, but they're leaving themselves open then because what if I was to catch it then? Is that because I didn't wear a mask and you told me not to, and you're telling me I should have been wearing a mask the whole time?
They even have a governor come out saying she was asymptomatic, but had positive antibodies for COVID. And she's like, I didn't even know I was sick. Well, again, that the question is begged then, how long do the antibodies last for a flu type thing? She could have had COVID last year, and does she still have those antibodies, or how can they assure us it's from this year? And the best part is she had no symptoms. So what they're doing too is demonizing healthy people, saying, oh, well, you're asymptomatic, but you could be a carrier. You're unhealthy. Meanwhile, the vaccinated are hacking and coughing and spreading their shit everywhere, and they're fine because they're vaccinated. It's absolutely
Well,
counterintuitive.
it's their way of being able to make sure everybody's in the house because if somebody's immune to it, but they're a carrier, sorry, then they shouldn't. They're going to end up having to be in lockdown.
Yep.
Whereas,
So it's a way for them to widen the umbrella of who they can take.
yeah,
So
that's
if you
it.
have one COVID antibody or one COVID virus thing in your body, then they can take you. It doesn't matter if you're sick or not.
A crazy thing that I only learned this last week, and probably for a lot of people here listening to me going to say this is going fucking what you have never heard of this before. I had never heard of the friggin' abandoned cities in China before. Oh, and I was kind of watched the video on it. And it was like, holy crap! There's like tons and tons of skyscrapers to house hundreds of thousands of people in all these cities that are totally abandoned. They were built but never used. And then it got me thinking about what's happening at the minute, you know. And I was like, if they need workers and China makes most of their products, are people going to get shipped over to these cities?
That's what
my,
Aaron was saying. Oh,
my
well,
wee
not over
my wee
there.
brain was going overtime then. It was going, holy fuck. It was going full down rabbit hole head first, But
I
shit,
am.
who would be surprised? You wouldn't be surprised at this point, would you?
Well, our listen, Scooby, our factories are empty right now, so we're primed to take Chinese people into our factories. And you were saying, you were saying that there's a huge population of Chinese in northern Italy, just so they can say it's made in Italy, right?
Yeah,
And that's true. I read that Milan has a lot of Chinese workers, and hence why the breakout in Milan was so bad.
yeah,
How shifty is that shit that they have Chinese people come from China, go to Italy, ship all the materials from China, and then say it's made in Italy?
yeah.
That's fucking bullshit.
But
I
that's
have a
how.
pair of glasses that say they're made in Italy, and I really have a hard time believing it
Mhm.
because And when you said that, because I actually saw my glasses the other day and it said made in Italy, I said, bullshit, it's not made in Italy. I bought it at the glasses shop. Even if it's a privately owned one, I highly doubt they're shipping in glasses made from Italy. You know what I mean? This wasn't a Versace store or some shit like that. It was a regular eyeglass place. And when you said that, I go, well, I bet you, because I bet you my glasses were from fucking China because they did break. So it's very likely.
Yeah, they do up a lot of stuff, so they buy up, a brand that's, like Volkswagen. Not that they've bought Volkswagen, they haven't bought Volkswagen, but what I mean is Volkswagen and Audi and all, they get a lot of their parts made over there, but everybody thinks everything's German made, and it's not. It's China made. So it is. They get the parts brought in as well. So, that's happening everywhere. And, it just made me think, holy crap, could it possibly end up being that people get shipped out to these empty cities? And then I was like, so China had room to take all those foreigners in, all the asylum seekers and freaking refugees from the Syrian war. China could have took them all in, every one of them. Not that they would want to go there. Like I'm sure they would want to go there and drag them kicking and screaming. But yeah, it it just makes you wonder the longer that we're all kept in lockdown. There's more and more videos being shown in our news media. They're talking about our mental health. Being in lockdown for X amount of weeks, etc., and how this is going to affect everybody, but how it will affect the teenagers and upwards the most, the kids. And then they're showing videos as well of these, like, the younger generation crying, moaning because they're in lockdown. And I think they'll be the first to break anyway. I think they'll be the first to freaking. They won't be able to handle this at all. I think it's going to freaking cause big problems.
But
Because
they're all stuck on their phones, though. Are you talking about the millennials?
yeah,
This is
yeah,
their paradise. They're stuck at home with all the time in the world to be on social media. It's
y-
heaven.
yeah, but they're it'll only work for so long. I mean, because they need their coffees and their freaking visit the gym or their yoga and all the rest of all that other wonderful stuff that they do these days, and their vegan food, because we're going to be rationed here soon. I would say this keeps up another 2 months.
Oh,
We're
they're
going to see.
saying, well, meat plants are closing. They're having massive
Yeah,
outbreaks of, quote, COVID, and their meat plants are closing. And here's the thing I found interesting when I was listening, I think it was on Ghost Stream today, where I think where he was playing about the Smithfield's closing, which is a big pork
yeah,
plant.
that's right.
And listen,
290
pork is,
something.
I don't fucking eat pork. I like bacon, that's, and sausage, but that's all I do with a pig. I don't eat pork. Um, but the thing is pork is cheap, and it is a staple food for poorer people, is my point. So, like, turkey's cheap, pork is cheap, but chicken and burger and steak are more expensive. So these people they live off pork. For them to have a shortage, here's the issue now: they can't afford the more expensive meats, especially with the economy. So that's an unseen issue that they haven't addressed, I think. Toby is in the chat, Bloody Dingo. He is the name we cannot fucking pronounce. But
Oh yeah.
he's a bit of a wignat. He's like, can you troll the Irish, or this guy? What is he? And I'm like, he's whiter than you, Toby, because that's his thing. And he's like, I doubt it. And I'm like, no, he's Irish. He's got you beat. Sorry. I don't know what. But Toby's American, so at the very best, he's a mudblood. You're mixed, motherfucker. Just like me, Toby. Just had to pick on him because he keeps
Funny,
running.
I love pork myself, like, but I try not to eat it.
Yeah.
So it ends
Pork
up
roast is
being
amazing. But I don't do pork chops or anything like that.
Yeah, I love pork chops. Like, oh, but after I learned about it being called long meat a few years ago, it kind of and the pork consumption is like went down big time.
Larpy's loving you up in chat too. And listen, Toby, I don't think Scooby gets sunburned because he actually lives in Ireland, and it's
Uh,
not America, so he's where he's supposed to be.
yeah,
Maybe just go back to the homeland. Go back to the mother country, buddy.
I'm I'm in lockdown, mate. I'm white as a ghost for fuck's sake. I'm as white as you can be without trying to sound racist.
Toby, don't tell people you're Appalachian because we're gonna start playing the banjo song from Deliverance. All right, you don't tell people that sort of shit, buddy.
Bob Marley rolled into one.
I know Larpy's funny. He's
Yeah,
come
I
back
was.
around just for you. He's been gone
Huh?
for a tiny bit, and your reappearance has made him come out from under his rock. So welcome
Bringing them
back.
all out again, eh?
Yeah, the cockroaches are coming out. All the bugs.
Ach no, Larpy's alright.
Oh yeah.
Even whenever he's not uh, buying you, you know?
Dingo, you know what made me? I cried. I cried this night. I cried myself to sleep, Larpy, when I triggered you and made you all sensitive. And I thought, my God, I didn't know that you were that weak. I
Who?
made him butt hurt a couple times, Dingo. I was very disappointed. I got J-Man butt hurt too. I just, commie fist all the way, right? Keep plowing through. Nope. Started crying about it.
You've had a lot of men crying around here. So you have, but look, it's all about a crack. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should take anything like overly serious. And if they are, like even this lockdown, I'll be honest with you, I think about things and all the rest of it, but the reality is, like, see it till it comes to my door. I tend not to freaking think about it. I tend not to get myself worked up about it because until it comes to your door, why go looking for shit? Like, but the real, if this has sinister repercussions behind it, right? This has already been planned out. It's already been put in motion, and these governments would not have continued with this operation unless they were 100% positive that they could pull it off. And when I say operation, I'm talking about the consequences of this pandemic, not the pandemic itself. Because at the end of the day, COVID-19, it doesn't matter what it is, it is flu season for a lot of people. People have been getting the flu, and it seems to be the underlying conditions that ends up causing them to have some type of
Think about
failure.
HIV. HIV and AIDS was like a lifelong diagnosis, right? And
Oh
if
man, you may as
that
well
as
just.
a pandemic, and that, if anything, that's something that doesn't go away. You know what I mean? Whereas the flu, and the numbers is what bothers me because the flu it's doing the same thing it does every year, and what they're not talking about is who's vaccinated. The vaccinated are getting hit worse, and that they're which cracks me up because they're using the fact that these people are getting sick to push vaccinations, but it's those people who are getting more sick. So it makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, these diseases, like, if I was going to be afraid of anything, it would be something along the lines of HIV and AIDS, and it's always preventable. If you support your immune system, and you do things that are counterintuitive as far as like do things that do not put you at risk, right? Don't sleep around. Things like right to get AIDS and things like that, or don't make sure you wash your hands and you're taking your vitamins, you're eating well and getting enough sleep so you don't get sick. Your immune system is able to cope with this. there's no reason to be afraid. But
Well,
they've
that
just filled people with so much shit that they can't even
uh,
figure out how to navigate a disaster, right?
I must admit, right? I see so far this whole lockdown, this whole COVID outbreak, and all the rest of it. The only kind of actions that I've taken is every time go to a shop, I buy something with a long life, you know, to stick in the cupboard. So I'm probably at the shop twice a day. So every day I just throw something in there, like I don't know, a packet of friggin' pasta or whatever. And so I'm just picking up something extra there. And then the other thing that I did was I went straight to the pharmacy and bought friggin' vitamins. You know, I bought vitamin C individual. I didn't buy, you know, where you can get like complete vitamin tablets that has a bit of everything in it. Well, I kind of don't believe in them, but I just bought separate of everything that I felt was, needed. And that's about the most action that I've taken. You know, I'm kind of preparing, putting a bit of food away just in case, and then of course the immune system. Everything else is kind of out of my control. What else can you possibly do?
It's the same thing as like not doing anything that could put your life at risk. If that was the case, you'd have to stand in one place, and that would put your life at risk because you're not moving and eating and all that. I mean, everything you do, cooking, riding your car, riding a motorcycle, exercising, you could get hit and killed. I mean, there's so many things that put you at risk, but we can't live in fear of fucking living. I mean, and this is what they're doing, and it's just for them to be able to control us. And people, it pisses me off that people don't think about it in this aspect. There's so many ways that don't make sense for what they're doing that you can think about it in a bigger, um, in terms of the bigger picture. Like, why would you not? Does nobody ride a motorcycle because they could die, and it might not even be their fault? It could just be another driver who doesn't see them and acts like a jackass. A motorcyclist is at risk every fucking time that they go on their bike. They're completely exposed to the elements, and there's 18 wheelers, dump trucks, fucking SUVs, cars that can kill them within a second, and they're driving with them. And how many people die, and how often? Out of the people
Well,
who drive motorcycles every
it's the
day in the
same. You can say the same about smokers. You
yeah.
know, how many smokers are going to die of cancer this year in America or um, in the UK? It's going to be more than died of this pandemic. I think one of the saddest things about this pandemic, I don't know this has happened over in America or not, but one of the saddest things I've come across is that cancer patients' treatment has been cancelled over in the UK. They're not receiving their treatments. Any cancer patient that was due for chemotherapy or um, some sort of operation procedure is cancelled, and they're now set back. And how many of those can afford that?
So what we're watching
Probably,
is, yeah, the economy collapse, businesses are going to close, and people are going to die for multitude of reasons.
yeah.
I think that their plan's working perfectly.
That's a really surprising me because I don't understand why all of this has to shut down regarding hospitals. Appointments and okay, there's some appointments don't need to be can hold off like non-serious appointments but if you've got people with cancer and it could be a matter of life and death whether on how soon you act on it, man, it's not right that those people are not getting the treatment that they deserve. It really isn't just on the basis of freaking this pandemic at the minute. It's outrageous, I think, and it's horrible. And then at the same time, I've seen a lot of people complaining because they were due to get some transgender reassignment operation done, and it's been cancelled, and they're getting on like their rights have been stumped on, or this is a matter of life and death and all for them, and they're like, hold on a minute, you're waiting to mutilate yourself. These people are waiting to get a second chance at life, hopefully, you know. And they never had a choice whether they wanted cancer or not, you know.
Well, here's the thing is that's when you get into the medical side of it, when you start looking at people's health and how you can control your health and contribute to your health, is that I was listening to something that was saying they were talking about embryos and how your embryonic layers as you grow from cells to a fetus to an infant, like the way you develop, those layers are associated with parts of your brain that have connected at one point in your fetal development to all your organs and limbs. So your layers, and that's all interconnected. It doesn't change. It gets more complex as you grow bigger, but it's all fundamentally the same, connected. So
Hmm.
they were basically, that's when you talk about medical stuff. So with cancer, they were talking about the fact that cancer is to a degree normal. And when you have encapsulated cancers and things like that, it's a physiological response to a trauma. And what happens is, because people don't acknowledge their emotional trauma, physical trauma, their health trauma, maybe they're not taking care of themselves, eating, they've got stuff going on in their life, there's stress. When people are not aware of all that and they're, thinking they're just living, right? Their body has a traumatic response. There's an injury and a response, a healing response. And so their body is going through that process when cancer is detected, and then they tend to get, quote, metastasis, which is cancer from one organ to another, um, during the time that they're diagnosed, right? It's always after it's diagnosed. I would like to do actually a little deep dive into that. If metastasis always shows up after diagnosis or if they found it prior to. But my guarantee is I bet it's after. And the point being is it's a new trauma. So it's there because they haven't found cancer cells in your blood. So how the fuck does cancer get from one organ to another? It's interesting because they're not finding where they get from one organ to another, but they're finding that they're two organs, and they will test the cells and say it originated from this organ, but they don't know how it gets there. And that could not necessarily possibly be because the original trauma came from, you have your original trauma, which formed the first cancer, then you have trauma from that. So maybe that's it genetically will show up as coming from another organ or having that be it. I don't even know how that testing works. I just know I worked with cancer patients in surgery. And so that's what they would say is sometimes they would actually look at where the metastasis came from. But so my point being is if you let the body go through the process, acknowledge the trauma, be aware of your health, and take care of yourself in the correct nutritional, and physical ways, you will need surgery. Cancer will go away on its own. It's a response. And what people do is when they come into that response, they can then have an additional response because of the added trauma of getting a cancer diagnosis and things like that, which I found a very interesting theory because I've read a lot about how emotions connect to your physical health.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, people who are emotionally upset or depressed for long,
How do you die of a
depressed is the
broken
wrong
heart?
one. Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
do you die of a broken heart then? That exists, but
Uh,
they don't have a diagnosis for it other than that? Hello,
yeah.
if your own body and mind can kill you, I mean, come on. And that's what this does tie into COVID, Scoop, because my point being, you're going to have people watching the news. And then, so not only are they fudging the testing, not only fudging the death certificates, and now they're making a whole bunch of people extremely angry, anxious and upset and scared. And they're having things like chest pain. My coworker went to the hospital with the flu and was also having chest pain. So, because I can tell you, most likely knowing who she is, she's probably anxious. She's that type of person. And so that's building in. And then people are not only that, the stress of this, plus the changes in our daily lives and our work environments, everything is different. That stresses people out. Even demented patients that don't have any idea what's going on, they know something isn't right because it's that underlying energy observation. they're all, they're keeping them in their rooms. They're not doing the normal activities. All the staff are wearing masks around them. It's freaking them out. They may not be able to express why, but they're behaving differently. People are more
Yeah,
anxious. They're not sleeping well. They're restless. They're falling. And this is where the emotional connection comes in. And this is how they learn to manipulate us, which is basically what Operation Paperclip and MK Ultra and all it was. We're living it. They learn how to fuck with us. So stress lowers your immune system. So not only are people getting sick when they're lying about it, but they're making themselves sick. Except for the people who are taking this as an opportunity to better themselves and not get stressed, right? It's up to them, I guess.
yeah. I mean, there was a lady living close to me there. Was diagnosed with COVID and died. But she had been in lockdown for like 5 weeks. She'd been in self isolation for like 5 weeks. Hadn't been seeing anybody. And had underlying health conditions. So it's probably underlying health conditions that did the damage. And again, that goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. That they're now telling us that people are having strokes and clots, etc., as part of symptoms of COVID. They're saying that people are. That was another thing. To see your comment there, Landry, about the heart attacks. They're also talking about people being scared to go to the hospital whenever there's something seriously wrong with them because of COVID-19. In case they catch it, they're worried about catching it in the hospital. So people. They reckon have been having heart attacks and all at home. It's crazy. And they probably have because they're probably stressed out. As you say, it does get you stressed out. That's why everybody should, the government should be handing out friggin' legalizing cannabis and giving everybody a little bit better relaxation every night. Bit of the old Bob Marley. Let everybody unwind and Bob's your uncle. Problem solved. But when you start looking at things in a month from now, Renee, where are we going to be? Our next lockdown review is in 3 weeks. So the end of 3 weeks, you'll have a better idea then of where we're kind of going to be and where we're heading. At the minute, it's all guesswork, and I don't really like fear mongering by trying to predict this or predict that or say this was going to happen or that's going to happen, because ultimately we don't know 100% sure what's going to happen. But at the same time, you can look back on recent history to see how governments have behaved in certain situations, what the outcome was, etc., etc. So that's kind of the only insight you can get at the minute. Um, but I definitely think this next month is going to be, uh, if they decide to extend things, then we're going to definitely get a clear picture on what direction they're taking us. Now, I mentioned last night in Ghost chat or stream, sorry, was it? Or was it? Oh, it was my stream talking to Ghost. A little baked, folks, so forgive me. Um, yeah, I mentioned in his stream about they were looking for volunteers for the NHS to help out with things for deliveries and drivers and stuff like that. They got overwhelmed with people volunteering, and yesterday or today they announced that they're looking. There was a farmer in Essex was looking help to bring in his harvest, and of course he put the call out, and he's got a load of those furlough workers, as they were described, and they're all out freaking picking the vegetables off the fields, like. And that's exactly what I'd been talking about that I could see happening, and it happened the next day. I just thought that was pretty fucking cool. You know, so I think that's a sign of what's to come. That whenever if certain jobs are going to be needed done, and you've passed your immune test, because nobody's getting out of here unless we're all immune, you know, or vaccinated or whatever, like, and we're not a threat to everybody. And that's going off the behaviors, because they're talking about um apps and shit like that there, where you can they want people to register, where you'll be informed if you've been in contact with what do you call that, a COVID patient, etc., etc. So yeah, you've got a good idea. I got the phone call. Sorry, Renee's had to go to the phone. Oops,
I'm back.
look is back. I
I'm
talked
back.
enough
Yeah,
crap
that's
long
why I
enough there.
popped off. Yeah, I got a phone call and I ignored it at first and they called back, so I had to answer it. So I just had to pop out. Sorry about that.
No worries. I was just talking nonsense anyway. So yeah, I was talking about down the line here. We'll get a clear picture in 3 weeks' time, whenever they decide what's next, if they're going to keep us in lockdown longer or not.
Mm-hmm.
They've
Well,
been
and they
talk,
flip the script, don't they? Too. They're
yeah,
trying to make healthy people look sick and sick people look healthy.
yeah. They've also been talking about the third and fourth wave now. So they'll have,
That's being caused by the social distancing and everything, by not letting the public mingle. They literally, all they had to do was put out media reports like they are with no basis in fact and act hysterical and make emergency orders and, you know, flood the media with their propaganda, and everybody just all of a sudden we're all dying. And the thing is, when you distance and keep in your home, you're not naturally spreading it. So yeah, you're gonna have more waves. So if it comes around again and like, oh, we've had 100 cases, shut it down again, you're going to wait for it. It needs to work its way through the population. It's just how life works, and that's why the thing is they're creating the very situation to put us all at risk to be sick constantly. If they told us how to stay healthy, these things wouldn't be a problem. Period. But they don't want us to know it, and that's the inversion. I can't believe like nobody, especially my coworkers, don't see this shit. Oh, it drives me crazy.
yeah. See, I mean, I'm of the opinion that there's definitely something going on health wise, but I also think that it's being used to facilitate what's
Yeah, it's the
their
normal flu season.
next,
That's what's going on health wise.
them taking us to the next level.
There's too many fake things around it for me to believe at this point that it's real. Anything different from a regular, even, the first thing when I saw the study India put out, I read that study where they broke down the virus kind of like makeup. And
Hmm.
it looked fake. And it was the official document. And I was just like, I don't usually see research studies that look like this, and this is a little odd. It wasn't in any, might have said it was in a journal, but it was a separate document, and that was the one that they were referencing. It was just odd. Um, and and then with me not, and then when my coworker even is trying to fear porn me and say, oh, she's got chest pains and all this other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but you guys also get vaccinated. She's anxious. You put all that together. She's also quite thin, and not, and I just mean, low muscle tone kind of stuff. And so what that means, it says something about her diet. This is what doctors used to know about you. This is what nurses who pay attention know about you. So for me, I can see her and I can go, yeah, I can see how she might get sick, especially knowing her personally, especially and have chest pain with all this, because everybody's jacked up, even if they're just fine. Everyone's on edge. So right there, I mean, you're putting yourself at risk for getting sick. You can't be stressed out fucking every day at work wearing a mask and having your patients constantly ask you why you're wearing the mask, or the residents who have dementia who keep asking you why that. Oh, I had a LNA tell me today that a resident kept accusing her of being Chinese because she was wearing a mask and she didn't know, that, but she still had the memory to associate it with China. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
the whole
it's
mask
flipping
thing's
everybody out.
interesting. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no masks to buy over here. I've been trying to get masks for weeks because at some point they're going to tell you we have to wear them, right?
You got to
And
order the cloth ones, or the, what do they call them? Those whatever baklava masks.
hi, balaclava masks are not allowed to wear them over
Yeah,
here anymore.
balaclava mask.
They've been banned over here, so they have.
What are they for?
They're for hiding your face so the cameras don't know who it is. That's what they're
Oh,
for.
yeah. Okay. Because they're like black and neoprene looking.
Yeah.
That's so
Well, I mean
weird.
that's what the terrorist organizations would have always had on over here, isn't it? Balaclavas.
That's crazy. I didn't even know what that was. I'm like, why would anyone need this? That's why.
Yeah, you just see two eyes in the mouth.
Oh no, not even that. Oh no, this was just maybe they make different kinds. But this was an over the nose, like it almost looked like a face mask, but it was neoprene. It went under the eyes and over the nose, and under the chin.
Yeah, it looks like a snoot or something. Yeah, is that what you mean? It looks like some sort of goes around their neck and all, it's almost like a snoot, or what I would call a snoot,
Okay, yep.
that type of thing. But I've seen people with them.
We call ski masks the one where the eyes are cut out in the mouth.
Yeah,
And then, yeah.
well, that's what we would call a balaclava. So it is.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a ski mask. You're
Yeah,
definitely hiding some shit wearing that.
yeah,
That's like
definitely.
that's like with a baseball bat that gets sold with
Yeah,
a baseball bat.
yeah. Along those lines.
Yeah, they're selling. Well, they were selling them on Amazon. Amazon is like opened up a whole new world to me.
Amazon has everything that you want. So it has.
And more.
I mean,
Guy named Andrew.
this here will also force people to shop online. I mean, if you weren't into shopping online before, which I'm not, you're going to be by the time this lockdown's over because people want to buy things. They're shopaholics nowadays, and they're going to end up going to Amazon. You can also buy your food and things like that there. You can buy all sorts of shit from Amazon. So, yeah, this is going to make sure as well that all generations around now become dependent on internet shopping as well, or learn that they can live with just internet shopping.
I don't like it,
I
but
don't like. I hate internet shopping. I think it's crap. I used to love walking around the shops. Not that there be many men's shops to walk around, but you walk around, have a look, and see what there is. If there's anything you fancy, go around the rest of them and come back to the things that you liked. That's what I always did things like. But now you can't freaking. You don't know what fits you. Sizes are always different, and I swear they've made the sizes smaller. Or it feels that way anyway for me.
well, it depends on. I've noticed it's the brand.
Yeah,
Like
brands.
you
That's
stick with
yes.
certain brands because they're cut differently for different body types.
Yeah,
When I shopped in the UK, all right, I was doing kickboxing 3 times a week, running twice a week, 3 to 5 miles, and doing weights 2 hours 3 times a week. And I was too fat to wear clothes in the UK. I was like, I could not move here because I would have to import my clothes from America. This is ridiculous. Like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah, well,
Not
European women, like traditionally, you would have definitely said European women were a different shape. Like, I mean, the shape of women has changed dramatically over the last 100 years. So they have, the
even
women.
Italy's tough too. I was too fat for Italy.
No way.
Oh yeah, yeah. And my feet are too big for Italy too. Yeah, I'm a fucking giant.
You should, maybe you're supposed to be male. Maybe you're one of these trans and you don't know it. Nobody's
I
told
was
you.
happy to,
You-
dude. Sometimes I watch those videos and I'm like, how dare you call me a transgender?
I know.
I'm not.
I went with a girl once, selling a kidney. She better shoulders than I did. I was like, holy crap, man! I'm like, can I be sure now? Look
Well,
at her
yeah, I have wide
shoulders.
shoulders, and I have long arms and legs, and I don't have hips. Like which is weird because they said that I was perfect shape to give birth, but I don't have the hips for it, and I didn't get big hips after. I guess that happens. I didn't get that, but I got big old feet, dude. Yep. I'm an Indian, so fucking, we gotta be climbing mountains and trees or some shit. But yeah, I'm wiry. I'm strong, but I'm lean and thin, and I just couldn't believe, like, at the time I hadn't had kids, so I had an ass. And I wasn't like, what, 5'1" and 115 pounds. It seems like that's as far as the clothes went. I actually got some more knickers. By the way, knickers talk. I got knickers from there. I still can't fit into the little shorts I got from there. They're like just above your knee. That will never fit me. It'll
Hold
get
on a minute.
better.
Hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold
But
on.
the knickers ended up fitting me.
How long ago were you in the UK?
2004, 5, 6.
So that's like fucking 14 years ago, and you've still got knickers from then.
Oh my, yeah, my knicker. Where did my knickers come from? Italy, and I'm trying to think, when did I go there? 2006 or maybe 5, 6. Because I went on a month-long trip to Europe in 2007, but that wasn't when I got them. So yeah, maybe 2004, 5. Yeah,
That's
and yeah,
crazy, man.
fuck yeah, they still fit.
I mean,
Well,
I
they
know
did
it's,
me
I
well
know
then,
it's,
but now
I,
they don't.
I, I wear my boxers until I start getting skid marks in my jeans, and then I know it's time to change.
The blowout holes in the back have gotten
The
too big.
blowout holes in my back, it's like a fucking baby whale's nose.
Oh boy, where's Danny to keep us under control?
Oh,
Verbal lockdown.
I tell anyone
I miss the old kid. He came back for a hot minute. Well, he fell in love with Tidor and they got married and he left the internet for a little while.
who?
Then he came back and Danny, remember Loose Cannon?
Oh, I don't know. I'm written off
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, so he left and his leaving was that he was in love with Tidor and they were going to go live happily ever after. And then he came back and he was showing his face. He did a couple videos showing his face and he was talking about some shit and then he was going to save the world and COVID-19 came around and the bitch fucking bailed on us. He left.
COVID
Where are
19
you?
came and he's gone.
Where are you, Loose Cannon?
He probably show up. He probably show up at some point.
He might come back again. You never know. I know, Raver. Most guys hate shopping. I was shocked to hear Scooby likes it.
Oh, I love shopping. We'll tell you, I'm shopaholic. Like, it's just unfortunate there's not enough shops that I like. I mean, I'd like I'd always go into the freaking the TV shops, stereos, all that there stuff. That's my perfect idea of shopping. Walking around, looking at all the big ass new TVs, and saying to myself, "I'll never be able to have one of them." I mean, fucking TVs are getting ridiculously big now, so they are. They're taking up half the bloody wall. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, and the curved ones, those are the shit.
I thought about getting a curved one, but yeah, well, wasn't it? I got one of them smart tallies, but I'm scared to plug it in there.
Yeah, it's gonna
In
be
case it,
listening to you.
yeah, in case it's fucking record me or something, and
My
say
phone,
something I don't want to say.
well, what was weird is watching TV and I have one of them stupid ones, and on my phone popped up like it recognized I was watching YouTube on my television, and it was like, "Hey, you can voice search if you want." I'm like, "Excuse me? Huh? How do you know what is going on right now?" And I didn't know if it meant on my phone or for my TV. I wasn't quite sure. I'd never seen the notifications before, but yeah, it was telling me how to work with my TV from my phone sitting in front of my TV. So yeah, Big Brother is always watching.
Oh, I so yeah, I don't really use it, to be honest with you. Um, I have two TVs in my living room. You see, I've one on each corner, one for the freaking TV and the other for PlayStation. I always have to have double noise. I have to have background noise. I have to does my head in, and yeah.
Oh, you need to have lots of babies then. You'll have all the
Oh no,
background
not
noise.
no. I don't need that sort of background noise. No, Jesus, no. Oh
Screaming.
God, I couldn't go through that. No. Oh no. Happy
Never seen a baby.
enough.
Oh, I listen sometimes to the background noise I've got. I'm like, wow. Just wow. Boys are loud, Scooby. They got a lot to say.
See, I was a quiet kid. I was quite subdued. You know, I was pretty chill as a kid, to be honest. That's maybe it. Maybe subdued's the wrong word. I just did my own thing. I always have.
That's well, some kids are chill. I don't know kids like that. I'm not like that, so I'm generally pretty chill, but I'm kind of hyper, so that can happen. Other times I can't take anything around me. I want no noise, I want silence.
Yeah. See, I've always been able to block everything out, no matter what. Should it be in a crowded room or fucking what? In the middle of a freaking train or something. I can block crap out like so.
I can to a degree, but sometimes not. If I'm trying to think about stuff, that's when it gets a little hairy. Especially when I'm multitasking things in my brain, because at any given time I'm probably thinking about three things at once. It gets a little fucking exhausting. Just a touch.
Yeah, sorry, I've got a wee bit distracted, so I have.
Well, what are you doing? You playing
There's a,
Xbox?
no,
PlayStation?
there's a movie on. Tree Grit is on. Well, Raver wanted to know what the back. Well, he didn't want to know. He just asked if it was background or was that the TV or the noisy neighbours.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbour is noisy too. Holy crap! I couldn't believe how noisy they get. Infuriating.
I
But
imagine. That's why I don't like neighbors and I only have one.
I know. Listen, my mum's next door neighbour rents our house out, and our tenants moved out, and she was like, "Why don't you rent that?"
Oh God.
take that house next door. Like I'm not long after moving there, and I'm like, I'm not moving again for at least another year. Like, but she would have me move in there. I couldn't imagine. I'd be tortured. Could you imagine that? I'd be absolutely tortured.
Right next door to your mom.
Oh, next door, the same house built onto it, no one of them semi-detached. Oh, no way. That would be a nightmare. She'd have a wee bell, wouldn't she? I'd be able to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
She
no.
just opened the window, Scoops. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, just bang the wall.
Yeah. Oh God.
And then she'd be
Oh God.
watching every time you left the house, be watching. What time do you call this to get home at? You know?
Why'd you leave for
Who was that?
one
Who was
hour and 15 minutes the other day?
yeah. Who was that who was that woman that came to the house?
Yeah, you can't have that.
Why did she leave at 4 o'clock in the morning?
It's gonna
You
ruin your
wouldn't.
show.
Yeah, you're fucking right, man. No, you couldn't have that at all. No way. I lived for a while with like family members all in the same street, and I tell you, it's like 3 years I did that, and I was like, no, I'd said adios amigos, I'm away. Absolutely crazy.
I was never one for roommates. I was more than happy to live on my own and actually preferred it. College did me in, man, because you like get stuck with people you have no choice, right?
Hmm.
You get all kinds. And one of them was she was fine. She's kind of sort of a preppy soccer chick. And that was not my MO at the time. I was fucking ready to fucking party. Party! So then I got another roommate who was a little bit more like that, but she was like a stage 5 clinger. And where am I going to go? She knows where I'm at all times, pretty much.
Yeah,
If I leave, yeah.
it was like that whenever I was in the freaking children's home when I was a kid. Like sometimes you maybe had a shower bedroom or something like that. There. Oh, you just couldn't escape. You couldn't get away. Couldn't, and you never. It's not like you had the same type of interest or something like that, or if you'd even be on the same freaking age range. Even a couple of years difference is huge whenever you're a teenager. Like, so you couldn't even get your free space, man. That was a nightmare. That scenario. But then you learn to be adaptable. I did anyway, I suppose. But it's different when it's family and whatnot.
True
But
that, but yeah, family is pain in the ass too. You can't pick those motherfuckers, can ya?
no, they decide, don't they? I think over the next while here, I'm starting to notice a few things. Like, same the brand of cigarettes I smoke, they're harder to get now than what they were for some reason.
Hmm.
So I'm
Oh,
thinking to
Misha
myself,
was saying, somebody in South Africa was saying that they can't get cigarettes. They banned cigarettes and alcohol or some shit over there.
that's crazy. Like,
Yes.
how you can't you see the worst thing they tell you is stop drinking. Don't stop drinking straight away. You're telling alcoholics they can't have freaking alcohol, or you're sending freaking like maybe two smokers or one smoker in the house with no access to cigarettes, man. That
Well,
is
that's what I mean. They're depriving
wow.
people of a lot of stuff by doing this, and not that cigarettes is important or the most important. I worry about my
It is if you're
grandmother.
addicted to them.
I know, but I worry about people who are demented, who are old, have dementia, and they can't see their family. That stuff worries me. I mean, they're doing everything they can to really fuck with people in any way that they can. I know that.
Well, I know in the UK now, like there's plenty of families out there that maybe the children are with the father and they haven't seen the mother in weeks. Or
Yeah, that's
the other
bullshit.
way around, and it's not even because they're split up or anything like that. There, it's maybe one of them's a nurse or a doctor, and they're staying in a hotel. whenever they're off work because they're not allowed to go home in case they take COVID with them. You know, I mean that must be freaking hard on them. Like, must be.
Very hard. I can't imagine.
And then
It's ridiculous because again, they're saying healthy people are carriers, but it's okay if you're sick. You're the victim. Like I just can't deal with this. It's so much psychological and medical propaganda and political propaganda. Like it pisses me off when I start thinking about how stupid people are and how much they're lying. And if people just thought for a little bit about how it doesn't make sense in any way, there's a million ways it doesn't make sense. And they're just believing it.
yeah.
And then fucking de Blasio tells people to snitch on others, take photos. I mean, what the fuck? That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy times. Like, and as I said, you'll really get to see the agenda move on here in the next 3 weeks, and we'll
Yep.
get a better idea of where everything is going to end up then. Because at the minute, as I said, you end up fear mongering. The cows come home, and nobody wants to deliberately do that. But I think this next month I'll just be trying to, I've already bought a couple of boxes of nicotine patches just in case, And I would tell any smoker out there, see where they can, just buy a couple of boxes of those 21 milligram patches, and it'll get you through the. It's not going to be perfect, like, but it's better enough. Because if they start,
Do you have e-cigarettes? Can you guys get those?
yeah, I don't like them at all. It's not the same.
Can you order cigarettes online?
I don't know. I don't. I've never tried, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't. Well, these are our options, right?
Yeah, I suppose I haven't looked. I don't think they're allowed to
Because people
sell.
were bitching about them stopping sales of seeds and shit. Well, come to find out, they're stopping them in big box stores. Well, the thing with big box store seeds is they're GMO anyway, so why the fuck do you want to go there? But I have heard that they've been limiting seeds coming out of other places, such as, smaller gardening type stores and
Yeah,
what is it called where they sell wooden shit, pre-Home Depot type stuff. So I get it, but you can get them online. And so I don't want to hear that Walmart can't sell you seeds. You don't want their fucking seeds anyway. If you want heirloom seeds, you don't want to be buying this garbage, or get seeds out of some, spend a little bit of money, buy some organic vegetables and get the seeds out of those. I mean, it's not great. It's not probably completely organic, but you can have GMO seeds that you grow organically. Well, that's not fucking organic, is it?
yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna, try and get a few things growing around me here. So, simple things, like lettuce and freaking that type of stuff, tomatoes, carrots. Something that's freaking not a whole lot of hard work, but is nice enough to eat.
Yeah, you can
So,
make a bubble. You can grow anything you want. And I was talking the other night on Trenches about onions, and I had a good chin wag with Lanny.
hmm
Kind of called him out. It was good. He didn't have an answer for me about his bullshit. I said, you were always like, going to every alternative but what might be likely. I said, I mean, and that's, Occam's razor, the most direct and simple answer is probably the truth. And then when people have to go and make this swervy road that's 25 times as long to the truth with all this storytelling bullshit, it's probably not the truth. So, you know, that's where even thinking about our government comes in. And I have an issue with being gaslit and manipulated by the government, and then being manipulated and gaslit by people in our daily lives. And I see that to me, that's some sort of virus. And they can claim to be truthers or whatever, but they've got the same virus. They're totally not living in reality. And there's not much you can do with that. People want to tell themselves shit and, hi, OG, live in some fantasy land. That's fine. But it doesn't mean it's the truth. And it doesn't mean that anybody has to accommodate you're crazy, which is what's going on now. That's what I feel like. Because you're paranoid and crazy, I don't have to wear a mask because you're paranoid and crazy while you're standing in line to get your 50 pills prescriptions and are worried about getting sick because you buy into the system. I refuse to be punished for other people's lack of education, lack of effort, and lack of knowledge. Sorry. I'm a very understanding and nurturing and forgiving person, and I understand how people get there, but at some point you have to take personal responsibility for your own health. You can't blame everyone around you for why you don't feel good. And that's
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what they're working off of for the fucking CV right now. Shaming people into you're putting other people in danger. Michigan Governor Whitmer had a nice little chit chat and said, I saw people handing kids candy without gloved hands. I didn't see that. I watched the protests, not 100% of it, but most of it, and I didn't see that shit. What are you even talking about? And why would they be handing out fucking about gridlocking downtown outside of the um, government buildings? What? I mean, they just make shit up to act like we're a bunch of lunatics putting everybody in danger. But then again, like, there's a thought that the Michigan rally bullshit was a controlled opposition. They had guns there. It was almost like trying to incite violence. They didn't need their guns there. There was no reason for guns. Nobody was taking their guns. They wanted to go back to work. Why did you need your guns? Again, it's a subliminal message to incite some sort of, and that's why you got to look at all these factors and what are they getting at? If you're really putting out a protest to get the government to let you to work and all this, and from what I gather, they have very little legal right in the way they're doing it currently to stop people from working and to stop businesses from operating until they actually have police come and enforce it. It's not currently a law, it's a suggestion, and people are abiding by it. So for them to protest by doing gridlock and having guns out, I mean, it looks a little sketchy. When they could protest by opening their businesses back up and continuing. One guy that they interviewed was a landscaper. Funnily enough, get this, he wants to go back to work and he's protesting and he has a fucking bandana over his mouth and his nose. Well, if you're afraid of the virus, why do you want to go back to work? See, you
I
can't
get.
have contradictory actions and statements. You start looking like an asshole. So yeah, controlled op is out there, and I think that's what Tretch was kind of getting at, is baiting us into protesting and doing these things, and whether they're going to attack us, while we're protesting, or setting people up to, and I don't know, whatever they're trying to get at. But it seemed like the Lansing, Michigan thing was a tiny bit, what's the word I want? You know, malaligned. It wasn't in line with their goals. It seemed a little odd. And we know they have controlled opposition. So, sorry, Scooby, go ahead.
What's that there? I got freaking booted off my internet there. Had to come
I
back
can't hear you.
again. I say I got booted off my internet there and had to
Oh, you
come back
did?
again. Yeah.
Your volume is really low. I can't
Is
hear
it?
you. Oh, yeah, why? Yeah, I can't hear you.
Let me see. One, two. I don't know. What's that sound like?
Still quiet. How's the sound in chat, guys? Can you hear him?
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now?
Nope.
But you can hear me now. Wonder what's going on there. I don't know. It's something to do with the internet. I got disconnected, so it did. So it all got messed up.
For some reason, you sound like you're good on the stream, but I can't hear you very well. Let me drop out and come back.
OJ, is it just a personal feud you have with your haters, or is it on a content level? I don't really think I have a personal feud with anybody. OJ, a couple of people that I was annoyed with was purely because they kept on lying about certain things. We managed to do a live stream through somebody else and talk about things where I got my point of view across. And I thought that was things settled. But it seems that even after that, people are still perpetrating the same lies, the same bullshit, you know. And I'd left that all behind me. I don't understand why OG felt he had to come out and give me an ultimatum video. You know, telling me he'd fucking knock me out and all this crap. It's like, what on earth? And then he hides the videos. When he takes them down, he hides them. So I couldn't care less about those couple of people. Freddie hasn't bothered me. He hasn't looked my way at all. I'm not concerned. I'm not bothered at all. Not interested in them. And anybody else who has a problem with me, so be it. You know, that's their problem, not mine. I don't have a deliberate problem with anybody in particular. I used to, but I got to show a few people exactly who they were and what they were doing. I got to prove that, and I was happy enough with the outcome. You back in, Renee?
Fucking here. I can hear you well now.
Yeah, that's all right. So that's the story there. I'm not interested in the bullshit. Anyway, there's too much. There's enough going on at the minute. Anyway, there's some serious crap in the world going on, whether we like it or not. I seen I watched that video there. What's it called? The one that's reintroducing Pizzagate to us all. Liz Krogan. You know.
OJM has a legitimate question. He's asking about
Yeah, I
the
answered it.
of their videos.
I,
But there's another one. He said the last live stream, The Dark Side of YouTube, I think he means the premiere. In your opinion, would you say that info in his presentation was accurate? I didn't watch the whole thing.
the dark
Remember,
side
well,
of YouTube.
yeah.
Whose videos that? Mine?
Oh, geez. I
Oh,
believe he's talking about the one that he premiered recently.
honestly, OG, or OJ, should I say, sorry. I didn't watch it all, so I couldn't tell you. I watched the first couple of minutes of it, and it was just the same regurgitated stuff from the previous 2 years, nearly.
Well, OJM, I actually told you this a long time ago. It's, yes, the stuff about Dave Tadashini is true. The stuff about Gunk is true. and train his friend. Um, I don't think I can't recall exactly what they say about Jamie Deluxe. I don't think he is as uh bad as they say he is. He's he's been offered contracts. I don't know if he took them or not. I know that he's tried to stay out of the drama and he got into it bad with Freddie and OG. And it was because I had said this on Tretch's stream and maybe earlier on this one that they go to people and demand that they cover certain topics, and when they don't, that's not their MO, because Jamie Deluxe at the time was doing fucking I forget what they're called. Um this website.
The Hollywood stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Hollywood stuff there.
Yeah.
Crazy Days and Nights. So it was all celebrity kind of stuff, all the kind of Hollywood, you know, the P's, and they wanted him to
Gossip.
cover people that they were interested in covering, i.e. Totashini and Gunk. And when people didn't do that, they got upset and started attacking them, saying that they were basically protecting them. And that wasn't it. It was just, you can't go around to other people's channels, especially when Jamie had a certain kind of MO with his stuff, and he wasn't going in that direction. Because here's the thing, OJM, and I said this on Tretches last night. I don't know if you were watching. They're rehashing, like, Honeybee took the money and ran. That was a bunch of fucking LARPing, grifting bullshit. And what needs to happen, OJM, is that Dave Tadashini and fucking Gunk are still online making content, and they actually have a convicted record. Fuck Honeybee, who just went and made some money and fucked everybody over. You're an idiot if you send these people money anyway. You've been warned, you did it, and look what happened. But she hasn't had a record or anything like that, but there's still people making content on YouTube who are, they have a record, and they should be warning people about that. But listen, they've warned them already for over a year, and people still go to their channels. And I don't know what to say. Like, how much can you do? And they're conflating it with people that haven't been here. Random Rants of Ryan is just a retard. I mean, he's irrelevant. I don't know who else. Do you have any specific questions? Am I missing anyone in the video that you're curious about? But that was the big stuff that we noted, was those two people. And they still have channels, and Gunk is still talking to chicks, dude, and who knows how old they are.
I've always felt like it the big see to go back OJM. It started off, everybody was outraged that you know Net for Truth was in the community, and the only reason why we found that out is from Honeybee, because she told us, and she also told everybody in a stream or whatever that I think I've got it in the video somewhere, how she would do background checks basically in all the YouTube creators, and that's how she found out. Now, what she did with that information was pretty much nothing until she told, I think it was Freddie she told, or in a stream as well, where, or maybe it was a comment. I'm not 100%
I like to
sure.
say that Freddie was a mod for Gunk, right?
Yeah,
These people were all buddies before.
yeah. I mean, even OG was involved with all the pizza gators. He was promoting their stuff. He was friends with them all. He was. But it's okay now because he was attacking the people that he was supporting. Um, I don't understand how it's became about Titus Frost and Honeybee whenever there's a big enough subject matter to cover everything, and the subject is the issue, not you know. It's like the whole COVID-19 thing. Really, it's irrelevant about COVID-19, just the way it's irrelevant about Titus Frost or Rants of Ryan or freaking Honeybee at this stage. Even they're irrelevant. It's the consequences of their actions that comes from it, and that's what needed to be addressed. And I feel it wasn't. I don't think it was, and I think everything turned out from being outraged about Net for Truth to then starting going after all these channels because they wouldn't speak up about it. And
Are you
then,
seeing skills or yeah, skills comment?
no, that's all sorts of fun. Yeah, that's you've just used the right term there, virtual signaling, and that's what I feel this all turned into, the whole what they've been doing with their channels. That's what it turned into. Look how better I am than you. I'm exposing how bad you are. It just, you know, while the actual subject of the matter just goes unaddressed. I mean, Net for Truth has went on. I think he's had a few different channels now. I accidentally come across Mr. Gunk's new channel there. So I did, and I was like, you know, while you talk about these people, you aren't actually doing anything about it. And they don't want to do anything about it, because they can't do anything about it. You just can't. All you can actually do is freaking highlight the issue and freaking move on because society doesn't agree with you. And these people, whether you like it or not, have got a right to use the internet, unfortunately. Not in all cases, but most, you know. And that's another just another thing that they use as well is freaking they try and shame me as well. Or they think that it makes them more honest because they're not taking any. They use that as being, I don't take money off you. I don't ask for donations. I don't have a PayPal. I must be honest because I get nothing out of this. I don't believe that at all. Like, I mean, I've seen a few videos there that I could have pointed out that were a bit wrong, but I never bothered me ours because it's not my business and I couldn't be annoyed with it anymore. I saw what happened to Jamie and I thought, you know, it was a bit harsh. They did the same on, what do you call that guy? Big Trooper guy, freaking does all the stuff about the Illuminati and all. Has the pyramid in this thing. Something for an uprising or something. They did that in him as well because he wouldn't talk about it in his channel. They started smearing his name. The tactics were wrong. I thought. Now it's went from they're not interested in that anymore. They want to go after anybody who's talking about conspiracy theories or making videos about conspiracy theories because nothing is true anymore. They're wanting to talk about all that stuff, like, and they're going to expose everybody and all that stuff. And it's like, why are you wasting your time? why not? Why not do something actually positive? You know, I mean, okay, if you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody, like, but I mean, I've no hatred towards them. I've no animosity towards them, and that's sitting. I don't want to be best friends with him. I don't even really want to be friends with him either. I'm just happy to go along and do my thing, and they can do theirs. Um, the thing that you mentioned about treats there, I have no hate for treats either. I was just looking answers back then. He says he doesn't have them. What are you supposed to do? I'm not going to sit and be a cunt to a guy forever. Yeah, I've seen that somebody shared a screenshot of him reporting people to the FBI and all. It's like, oh my goodness me. Think he, but um, well, OJM or OJM, sorry, OJM. I never saw treats e-begging. I did become known that he had a PayPal link, but I never saw him ask for money or anything like that there. What Honeybee done was she took thousands of pounds off people, claiming she was making a documentary, which I do believe they did make. I do believe they made the documentary, but somewhere down the line, they didn't. I don't think it needed as much money as they got, and somewhere down the line, the documentary was put to a stop and was never shown to people. And the fact that Honeybee has never come back to our YouTube channel, or the people who made the documentary never came back and informed anybody of what was happening, I felt was wrong. A lot of people donated their hard earned cash. They didn't do anything illegal. There was no laws broken because a donation is a donation. But at the end of the day, it stunk badly. And, Honeybee will never live that down, and neither will the rest of them that were promoting him. And it also added questions to me about other people who, like, bigger, almost mainstream operations that were promoting these people as well, and kind of like backed them up whenever questions were asked. So, I mean, Traits never saw him ask for money. I have no idea, John Lemon. I've absolutely no idea whatsoever. You would need to ask him. I haven't even watched the video, to be honest. I watched a couple of minutes of it at the beginning, and that was it. Because it just sounded the same as all the rest of the stuff. So, there was like a thumbnail anyway, and it showed all the faces, and it's like, no thanks. Yeah, I understand. Are you about, Renee? Because I have to mute. Be right back, folks.
Well, clearly he's gonna be right back because he's fucking gone.
Hello, you hear
Hello.
me? Back
Hello.
again? Yeah. Hello. Um. Uh, just reading the comments.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you were catching up on that.
I don't understand. Okay. What's the thing? Creating traits. Um. Again, OJ, I don't know if Treach had any uh transactions with him in that way. I'm sure um he's been asked, and I think he said he didn't. Um. We see that. I know what you're saying about scamming. That's why that's why it looks bad for Honeybee. I mean, she should have come out and put something out there to explain their absence or what was going on with the documentary, or if they couldn't finish it, why they couldn't finish it, and put it up on, put what they could put together out there. Um, that's kind of what should have happened, but it didn't happen, and makes them look a lot more guilty. Now, because freaking some people are still around that were closies or hung around Honeybee, they get attacked. Um, it's bad shit what they did, but ultimately it wasn't illegal, and she wouldn't be liable because she had started up an LEC. So they covered their tracks, like you know. But people will learn from that because in the future, when shit like this comes round again, you know, people are going to think, "Fuck it, I'm not going to bother anymore." I'm not giving them money. The last time I give money out for something, I got stung. You know, and it's a shame, like, because it kind of, maybe that's the point of it. I don't know, but I do remember they put out like a trailer for the documentary, and there was some footage of people being interviewed and stuff like that there. Um, but I'm still convinced like they all knew each other. They were all in tow together and whatnot. Whether or not they knew that she would take off. I mean, it was not just her that took off. And funny enough, somebody left a comment on the video on the Scooby channel, on the old Scooby channel there, the video about chicken and pizza, me taking the piss out of them for they were in Tracy Bean's house making chicken and pizza pasta. Chicken and pizza, chicken and pasta. And I took somebody's wrote about what's the word? Anyway, there's the newest comment in that. Yeah, anyone could see it if you want, like, but they're still not happy about it, whoever it was. I'm not giving lowballing opportunist types such as right. Yeah, but here's your thing, OJM, right? Um, what can you prove? You know, I made my point a year ago whenever started, treats was coming back round again. I wanted some answers. I didn't get those answers, but what I was supposed to do? Freaking hold on to a grudge for another year. You know, I couldn't be annoyed anymore. Um, ultimately, I don't think he's taken any money for anything. But then I don't know. You've got his word for it. He says he didn't, so or he hasn't. You either take somebody for the word or you don't. And I'm not interested in going down that rabbit hole anyway. I know what much it's not. I think when you start, you'll get a good idea of people at the beginning, like when you're looking like creators and things like that. It's pretty obvious from most of them what their intent is from straight off. You know, most of them want to start a Patreon, they have a PayPal account. So you've got an idea here that okay, this person's got a channel and they're looking you to donate some money for them for you keeping them entertained or for them keeping you entertained. Even. And
Well, some
that's
people
fair
looked
enough.
at it as they tried to make jobs out of it. Like, I know some people wanted to make it a career, but the thing is, like, I don't think a lot of people are prepared or aware of what it takes to be a big YouTuber. And again, like I said, you got to sell your soul. And so I think people think they can just do it on their own, but they quickly realize you don't do it on your own. And that comes with a lot of sacrifice. So are you going to stand for the truth or do you want to be a big YouTuber?
Yeah,
It's
well,
not necessary.
I personally think that if you're one of these people that wants to like enlighten people with information of should it be truth or whatever, like um, I don't believe money should be changing hands because you're not telling them something that you thought up yourself. It's not your brainwave. It's not there's
But the
nothing
thing
new
is,
under
you
the
don't have to
sun.
do the research if they're honorable and putting the information out there for you and it's reliable. I would pay a citizen journalist or somebody like that over paying for cable any day, you know? And so the point is the well the and the problem is people take advantage of that too and they put out bullshit and they manipulate and they really go it's about the money and not about using it as a job. It's one thing to treat it as a job and say, I'm monetized, if you can donate, you like my stuff, that's great. But when you lie and you do certain things that are out of line with the truth to get money, that's a problem. See you in a minute. That's my issue is I would happily pay to have somebody report some decent shit, but the problem is they don't. They aren't reporting the truth. They're not vetting their information. They're taking the lazy way out. So therefore, what is it like? Maybe 10% of the people that are actually doing, but they're not big channels. That's the other thing. They're never big channels. In order to get that big, you have to cover the topics they want to be funded, and then you get super chats and shit and Patreons on top of that. But you better toe the line. And it's just not worth it because that's not why we're here, right? And I think that's why it pisses people off because that's not why we're here. We're here for truth. We're not here to lie to get money. And I think that's more the problem. It's lying to get money than it is just wanting to be subsidized for the work that you do. If you can make it work, great. If people, if you're meant to do that and it succeeds and they support you, that's wonderful. If it doesn't happen, well, maybe you do something else. Nothing wrong with it though. Oh Lord. OJM, in response to your I just don't get from all the info you've heard. Well, I already tried to talk to you about this stuff, and it would make sense that you would not get it because you haven't got it with other people that I told you about. You choose to still associate with people that I've known about longer than you, but you don't, that's up to you. That's your prerogative, man. So you go right along with them. I mean, they're kind of right up your alley, to be honest. I mean, but I don't know. You might go, I don't know. Oh man. The thing is, OJ, they're rehashing shit from a year ago. It's old news. Freddie is putting out some better stuff recently. Um, Good for him. But OG and Wake are recycling shit from fucking almost 2 years ago. It's done and over. Half the people aren't even around anymore. That's what we're trying to say. So you keep talking about Money B. No one's running into Money B because she's gone. So what's the point? We already know this is the third documentary that you put them in saying the same fucking thing 2 years in a row. Like, so that's the issue. What's up, stars? Well, old Jam, you're actively looking for what's, and saying you're going to look into Tretch. If you're done with drama, why are you going to look into it instead of looking into things that are positive, that are informative and shit like that, instead of trying to look into people to expose them? I mean, here's the thing. You're also on OG is a drama channel. All he does is expose YouTubers. And then they got caught when they tried to do something for someone who wasn't a YouTuber, they got caught in a LARP. Where's the evidence? Have a look at Scooby's old channel. There's the LARP, dude. They faked a fucking memorial. That's why OG's trying to distance himself because he was fucking part of it. He was Freddie's best buddy, and they got called on the carpet for not fulfilling their big flapping mouths that they could do more than these other people while they were exposing them. And then they got caught fucking faking it. That's a fucking LARP. So yeah, they bust people. I don't need $20,000 for a memorial. I'll do it myself for free. You sure did, illegally, and you hid it, and then you tried to act like you took it down because it was doxxed. Is the memorial gonna get egged or something? Was someone gonna hurt the memorial? Was the park getting harassed? No, shut the fuck up. It was so dumb. What's up, Scoops?
All right, back
Stop me
again.
from running my mouth.
The yeah. Suddenly it became that LARP became all about. Well, it was only done to lure Scooby out, to trick him into doxing it, to show everybody what a piece of shit he is. That's what the excuse ended up being. Huh? But sure, that'll be for another day. I'm sure. See, I wasn't even going to talk about anything like this, Renee, and then you've started talking about all this stuff. You've dragged
Well,
me
we
into
we
a
had
gutter.
OGM come in to distract. Yeah, it's fine to address it, but I mean, I said it already last night on Tretches too. He's got a little dementia, and that's okay. But here's the thing: is we don't need to shit talk them, but just like they like to make people aware, right? We're making people aware. You make up your own mind, but the bottom line is they're full of shit, and they need to start, like I said, Freddie's doing good stuff, right? You said that too. He was exposing stuff about the CV and all that, and OG is still whining. Nothing's
Yeah,
changed
it's
on
it.
that front.
Freddy's putting out stuff about
Yeah.
COVID and all the rest of it, and OG's still fucking stuck 18 months ago, 2 years ago,
And there's
reliving the
nothing
same
wrong
stuff
if people
over
are
and over
asking
again.
questions, answering it.
Well, that's
But we're
it,
not
right?
going to keep doing it every live stream, right?
No, no, definitely not. It couldn't be annoyed like. Um,
Nobody said you were being disrespectful, OJM. I'm just, answering you and Scoob and why we're addressing this. It seems like we address it a lot, but this is the first time you've been around in the chat asking questions. But I've answered it before. What's up, Starzy?
yeah, YouTube gets a crazy place. See, whenever you find yourself in the wrong end of things, for no real reason worth talking about, apart from somebody's, you know, it just gets crazy. I'm trying to see if Scooby will sell out malls for a friend. Um, Morals over friendship. Depends what the morals are. Like, I'm not going to kill somebody for somebody, for a friend. Depends what level we're talking about here. If my friend has done something, I don't know, let's think of some sort of crime here. Okay. My mate is robbed a bank. Am I going to squeal on him? No. Um, I don't know. Oh, Cox has no morals or integrity. Like, I don't know. I would have to look at things for myself in that respect. That's kind of the thing about YouTube. People do put videos up, but at the end of the day, you should always make your own decision yourself. If somebody says somebody's a piece of shit, then try and find somebody who says they're not a piece of shit and see what lines up. Yeah, well, at the time, OJM, I wasn't just prepared to let things wash over. I wanted, you know, I don't know who that is though. You're talking about. I know who Cox is, but I don't know who the offender is. I certainly haven't heard him do anything like I haven't witnessed it when I've been around. Anyway, uh, it's 10 to 1 in the morning here, folks. So I ain't gonna close things up.
Howdy doody.
It's went on
You're
a
like,
bit.
it's the volume's up and down. I can hear you sometimes and I
Is it?
can't put my.
Uh, Fuck's sake, sorry. Well, listen, it's
It's
10
not
to.
your fault. It's mine. I think it's me.
Well,
And
blame
it's
me anyway.
StreamYards. Yeah.
He should be used to getting the blame. Um, Here, listen, it's 10 to 1 in the morning here, so I'm gonna wrap things up.
You better get some good sleep, Scoobs.
Yeah, try and get to get up early in the morning. That was my mum phoning me up for fuck's sake. She's telling me I think the army have been called in because they're going to hear all the helicopters.
Oh shit. Oh boy.
Ah,
Did you tell mom it was going to be okay?
oh, sure, of course. She's a battle axe. Don't worry about her. So
Gotta take
she's,
care of your mummy.
uh-huh.
I'm going to be a hysterical mummy one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to call my son. Get over here.
Hysterical
The sky
grandma.
is falling.
Sky is falling down. That's it. Chicken Little. You should do a YouTube channel called Chicken Little. Right, folks. On that note, thank you very much for
Have a good
coming
night,
around.
everyone. Talk
Uh,
soon.
OGM, I'll catch you up in this conversation again sometime about selling out morals for friendship.
Yeah, you don't want Scooby to address that.
But we'll have a wee talk about that. Do a video, eh?
The Wizard of
I
Oz. Let's
know. I
go.
mean, I'm sure. I'm trying to think if I ever. I don't believe I've ever freaking double crossed somebody. Even I never cheated on
No, you
anybody.
haven't.
Um,
You haven't, Scooby, ever.
I think I've certainly online here anyway. I think I've been. See, online's crazy. But you know yourself, OJM. There's lots of people with all different personalities, and everybody's right. Nobody's ever wrong. Everybody is always right. It's impossible to be wrong. So, um, yeah, leads to this. Right. Listen, folks, good night. Thank you for coming by, and I'll talk to you again pretty soon.
Night, everybody. Night, Scooby.
Night, Renee. Sure.